Welcome to the You Can Man podcast, episode 23. I'm Josh.
I'm Tim.
And I'm Dave.
And on this week's episode, don't be an animal.
All right, guys, welcome back to the You Can Man podcast, where we believe what one man can do, you can do as well. And this week, you might be wondering, don't be an animal. What in the world does that mean? Well, we're going to unfold that as we go along. But first, we always check in with each other and see how our week has been. Dave always goes first. So, Dave, what's up?
I know that you two have a coyote problem. Yes?
It's not a problem. We just have coyotes.
I consider it a problem.
We have guns.
Yeah, but you're not using them and you're not taking care of the problem. But so you guys have coyotes that live next door to you, essentially,
Basically,
right?
yes.
I saw one of those things, probably not your coyote, but I was up early in my car driving. This coyote, they are fast. And he wasn't even trying to be fast. Like he was just kind of like scooting along. He's crossing the road.
Yeah, they have short strides, but they're
and
fast.
they just look like they're up to no good. You know what I mean? Like they look like jerks.
You sure this wasn't a fox?
It was not a fox, because that's what I thought it was at first. Because the coyotes are kind of they're smaller than
Did you
like.
see a wily coyote?
He was not. He was up. He was doing something not good. And I'm telling you, they're so fast. And again, he wasn't trying to run. Like he was just scooting along so quickly. And I don't.
It could have been ours because they get around.
Well, I was like, like trying to, but I was way too far away. And anyway, I thought of you guys, and I'm like, we need to take care of the problem.
Look, our coyotes just don't care.
Yeah.
I've walked out of my basement.
And yours are big, aren't they?
They're like German Shepherd size.
This one was not like that. This was a small one.
And one time, this joker just broad daylight. I just walk outside. He's just standing there, probably 60 feet away from me. Just stops, just looks. He's like, I don't care.
They're brazen.
I'm here, and I'm going to kill what I want.
Josh, that happened to you, didn't it?
Yeah, a couple winters ago, I was working on my car, and I just look up, and there's a coyote in the street, and I kind of like stood up and walked toward him, and he just staring right at me.
Look, I don't want to hurt animals. I shot a bird when I was a kid, and I literally almost cried about it. Felt bad about it. So I don't like seeing, animals suffer anything, but if I got little kids, that look like bunny rabbits.
Oh,
right?
Josh and
I would be taking those things out.
Yeah, on multiple occasions. Well, Josh had the gun, but we went out on a little patrol.
Yeah, that day particularly, because that one was very brazen.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if they don't care, and animal control won't come out unless there's an issue, right?
Right. I called animal control, and they're like, if they're not being a problem, we're not going to do anything about it. If you feel threatened, call the police. If you feel immediately threatened, do what you need to do. That's what they told me. They basically said shoot it if you have to.
I guess if they're not causing a problem, then
that's how I'm
obviously
looking at it.
Yeah, you don't need to do anything.
They've traversed through my yard.
If they break the boundary,
but not like it's at night, like we can hear them.
Well, I heard them in broad daylight.
That's what you said. They were going crazy, right?
2 weeks ago. Whenever the police sirens go off down the road, they just start going crazy, and you could hear like little baby ones too. So they got some pups in there. Yeah. They're raising a little friendly family.
So anyway, our stance is they're not bothering us. We're not going to do anything.
I guess that's fair.
But if you want, and we'll do an episode on this, if you want to see good entertainment, not good arguments, but good entertainment, go on nextdoor.com for this area and check out the coyote discussion.
We need to do an episode just on nextdoor.com and just read some of the ridiculous.
Yes. It's an amazing place.
But hey, you can, kill a coyote if you have to.
If they're coming at you, right?
If your life or property is being threatened.
Yeah. All right. Do what you got to do.
Well, I've got a little story. Okay. This is going to make me sound like an 80-year-old man. Okay, guys. So
which you essentially are.
Just going to go ahead and preface that with.
So you're just going to sound normal.
Yeah, basically. Okay. So we've got 2 large mature pear trees in our yard.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. one of them is just off of my lot, but it's like in the woods, and so I'm like that.
It's essentially mine.
It's pretty much mine. Whoever owns that lot doesn't even live here. Whatever. And for years, these things produce just crap tons of awesome, like large pears.
Edible?
Well, I thought, okay, so I had been like when we first moved out, I was like, sweet. Like
That's why you bought the house.
No. I didn't even know we had that.
Yeah, we got bountiful
because
fruit.
it was so overgrown. Like, it's almost like you didn't even notice them. But I obviously started to notice them. And then I picked, what are you laughing at?
No, just you announcing you have pear trees just makes you sound ultra old.
It really does.
Okay. Anyways, so I picked some and I was like, man, these are really big. I'm going to pick one. Clearly, they're ripe. I mean, how much bigger can they get?
Obviously going to eat one.
And I ate it. I was like, this is horrible. This is horrible. And then another year went by and it produced crap tons more. And I was like, you know what? Maybe it just needs to like ripen for a little bit. So I picked one and left it on the counter for like 2 days or something. I was like, same thing. It was horrible. Right. Okay. So this year, I was like, I'm going to give this another shot. And I just thought, duh, why don't I look up how to, ripen pears or something like that?
There you go.
Okay, guys, just so you know, it turns out that pears do not ripen on the tree. There's only one variety, the Asian pear, that ripens on the tree.
Interesting.
Okay? So clearly I don't have that. If you do let them ripen on the tree, they will rot from the inside out.
Okay.
Okay. So what you have to do, and farmers do this, they pick the pears before they're ripe, obviously, and they will put them in a chilling process. So I put mine in the fridge I think I put it in there for like a week. I don't know, almost a week. And then I put it out on the counter for maybe even another week.
Are you following protocol that you found on the internet?
No, yes and no, because it has to do with the type of pear that you have, and I don't know exactly what variety I have.
Okay.
Right? So I was just nothing scientific about this. So it's just like, I'm just gonna put it out, and then you tell if it's ripe. If the next to the stem, you can press down on the fruit a little bit, and it gives a little bit. So I tried that today, and I was like, I think this joker's ready.
I'm ready to go.
So I'm like,
do you have
super
samples
excited
for us?
No, I should have kept some. Okay, so anyway, so I cut it open. It was awesome.
Was it really?
Nice. Yes.
Like it was like a real pear?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like the best pear I've ever had.
But it was good. Hey, that's fruit from your property.
Yeah. So I've got pear trees. I really do sound like an old man. I've got pear trees. I've got some blueberries I planted. I've got blackberries.
Nice.
I've got some raspberries that have yet to produce fruit. Anyway, so I was just thinking through like, hey, maybe I'd be all right if, everything went to crap.
You could just eat fruit.
Yeah. I mean, you can eat for a little while.
We got something.
Fruit and coyotes.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there's your meat.
We do have
that's
rabbits.
Nasty
tons
meat.
of rabbits.
Dude.
Well, and deer, honestly.
At 5:30, at least 3 times this week, I've been eating dinner. Look out the window across the street at the property next to Tim's house. Rabbit comes out of the woods at 5:30 every day. It's the size of a large cat. It's the biggest rabbit. And then like a little baby follows it.
Okay, first of all, you eat dinner at 5:30. You're the old man.
Yeah, that's all in a progression to get the kids in bed by like 7:30.
Yeah. Well, the other thing. Go ahead, Tim.
I just want to wrap up the pear discussion because I was clearly ignorant on the pear situation because I just assumed like, oh, well, it's going to be.
You went for it for 3 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be ripe. It's big enough. These just must. I seriously, countless conversations I had with people be like, yeah, we got pear trees, but they're just like yard pears. They're just not good.
Right.
So many times I said that, and how much wasted fruit has just been sitting there.
2 years worth.
Well, when I was a kid, we had a crabapple tree in our yard, and those are really good at throwing at your friends.
I was just about to say.
And then you would also try and eat one, and they were always terrible. Like they're really sour. They're not good. They're really hard. And so that's what I would have thought about the pears. I don't think I would have gone to those lengths.
That's good though. I had no idea that's like standard for pears.
Yeah. So once you buy them in the store, they've already gone through the chilling process. They probably just come out of the chilling process when you buy them. So sometimes when you buy them, you still need to keep them on the counter. You can put them in a paper bag with a banana because it off gases and it speeds up the ripening process. If you didn't know that. But
I randomly knew that because my wife tried to ripen avocados.
Well, there you go.
The other week.
Does it make the food smell like? Because sometimes when I like my lunch at work, I'll have a banana in there, and I'll pull out my sandwich, and it smells like a banana. I don't dig that. I don't dig that.
Yeah, but it just goes to show you that, how much other stuff do I not know? And it just made me remind myself that there's a lot of stuff that I completely am ignorant about.
Yeah.
And it's just, again, that you came in spirit, do your research, and figure it out.
Can we have a
is
You
this
Can
pear
Man
not
segment where we have Tim's Bounty and like you bring in all of your fruit and we try it? I want to sample some
Now, they
blueberries.
don't look pretty, I will say that. And they honestly, they don't even really have a really good pear shape to them. They're kind of more like
kind of
apple-ish shape. But it was good. I mean, it was decent.
Interesting. Edible, at least.
Edible. Very edible.
Awesome.
So we'd be remiss if we didn't touch on your little accident
Oh, gosh.
this week.
If you follow us, if you're all 30 people that follow our Instagram, no, we do have more than that. But I was backing out of the garage on Saturday morning.
Oh, I think I heard about this. It's the Bronco story.
Yeah. I was taking Luke to sports practice. He's starting
Sports practice.
Sports ball.
lacrosse.
Tim is not a sports fan, obviously.
He was going to go throw the ball.
Sports rehearsal.
One of those ball sports. Anyways, where was I going with that? Everybody else was asleep. We were leaving early. And look, if you sit in my garage with the Bronco on, that carbon monoxide
Yeah, you
detector
will die.
is going to go off.
Yep.
And all of our sensors are connected one to the other. So
The house is getting up.
it's going to be loud. So I'm in a hurry. There's so much junk in the garage with all our kids' bikes and all this stuff. And I thought I had moved everything out of the way, and I had my miter saw on this stand. What do you call that kind
Miter
of
saw
stand?
stand.
Yeah, but it's a collapsible stand. It doesn't matter. Backed out way too fast and wasn't watching what I was doing and totally dented the Bronco, like pretty bad. So,
Where'd you dent it? Like on the back of it, the tailgate?
well, if you followed our Instagram,
I do follow it, but I don't do the social media thing, as you guys know.
it was the front quarter panel.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Right behind the
Repairable,
front
or is it a new panel? What are you doing?
No, it's
It's
original
repairable,
panel.
but it's ugly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
It's an
Can you
ugly
repair it,
dent.
or are you going to be, is this some
It's
major
one of
work?
those things where I don't know if I'm going to be able to justify the cost.
No, you got to do it. You got to do it.
What I'll probably do, and actually I had tagged Nashville Early Bronco, John, and so he messaged me like, what happened? Before he had seen the other story
okay.
where I explained it. Anyways, and he was like, well, what are you going to do? And I was like, yeah.
You got to fix it. But at least you ran into your miter saw. So you can be like, yeah, my Bronco, I ran into the miter saw. It's way better than, I ran into my wife's car. You know?
But I'll probably just throw some primer on it for now and worry about it later.
Yeah.
All
Anyways.
right. Whatever.
Yeah, so the topic at hand today, don't be an animal, has nothing to do with coyotes,
No.
just in case you were wondering. But it's about civility and having basic
Just
human manners.
Being a decent person.
Yeah.
All right.
This show is going to be a little bit more flowing.
Essentially, Josh and I are just going to complain the whole time.
It's going to be opinionated. We like to think these are mostly facts that we're going to be saying.
They're going to agree.
It's opinion.
They will agree.
And yeah, we've kind of I've kind of touched this before on one of the podcasts, but there's a lot of things that differentiate humans from animals, despite what a lot of people might say. There's certain standards we hold ourselves to and should hold ourselves to.
Wearing shoes.
And things that just differentiate us, things that we should do as to not be so animalistic all the time. So we're going to touch on a handful of
How many do we got? I don't have. How
we
many
have unlimited, I think. For
not
the
really, not me, because I was going to say that we were preparing for this show, and I was like, guys, I don't really have a whole lot of
Tim's
stuff.
relatively chill.
I've got this. I have this complex, and you asked my wife about it, where I do not like inconveniencing people. So if I'm in a parking lot driving or something, somebody's trying to get out, or like I'm in somebody's way.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I know what you mean.
I gotta get out of the way. I don't know.
That's in the spirit of this thread.
It is in the spirit.
Because,
I
you're
guarantee
thinking
you,
about other people. That's kind of one of the overarching things here is thinking not of just yourself in the moment. Think of other people around you and think of your future self. Like, what do you want this world? What do you want your
You
world
can
to be
sugarcoat
like?
it all you want, but essentially this is me and you just judging people, right?
No, not in my opinion. We are giving a message to our listeners to help them and people they know and their children especially understand how you should operate in the world and interact in the world so that we can make this world a better place.
Okay, hero.
That's where I'm going with this. So we're going to start with, and Dave and I work in office environments. So we deal with the public restroom situation on a daily basis.
Yep.
That's where the crux of a lot of these issues are. And so I'm going with the bathroom first of don't be an animal in the bathroom. I work in an office environment, corporate, in one of the most wealthy socioeconomic areas in the state. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying these are supposed to be the
decent people.
People have it together, right? Now, go in the bathroom. It looks like some nightmarish Double Dare like scenario.
Yes.
Like there's liquid and like paper just everywhere and nothing. It's mass chaos in a corporate office bathroom.
I don't know what that is, but I know exactly what you mean. Tim and I can relate here because Tim and I have essentially worked as janitors before.
Yeah.
So we've cleaned up bathrooms. But
Essentially, I definitely have.
Well, Tim was a janitor. Okay, I worked at Publix and I was the low man on the totem pole. So they were like, "Hey, go clean."
But I was a janitor not that long ago, actually.
My favorite thing about you being a janitor is you talking about how many keys you carry. I don't know why I like that, but whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So
I know what you mean, though. Like, but for me, it's it's all the paper towels that are piled sky high. And then they're overflowing onto the floor.
That's on
like,
my list.
Can we not just take our foot and mash them down?
Yeah.
So we don't throw everything on the floor?
Yes. Or put a paper towel over your own hand.
No, you use your foot.
Or your foot. Okay. You use your foot. I could use my hand with a paper towel on it. But somebody do something. That's all I'm saying. You can do something to make that environment just a little better, maybe even for the next half hour until the cleaning crew makes it back in.
I think that's what it is, though. They know that Tim and I are going to be coming in there to clean up the joint. Yeah. And they're I'm not going to do this.
Can I give a janitor pro tip here? Okay.
Go for it.
Never, under any circumstances, ever dump a whole glass of water or cup of water, liquid of any kind, into the trash can. Okay, don't do it.
Don't be an animal.
Okay, well maybe there's one for me then.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That applies
dump it
to
out first because I guarantee when that janitor goes to take that trash out, it's going to leak all over the floor.
I will say I feel bad when I do that. Okay, I've done that before and I feel bad as I'm doing it. So now I don't dump it out, but I'll put the cup into the trash can right side up.
So I'm not here just to complain. I want to explain some things people can actually do to make that environment a little better. I like the paper towels. That was on my list.
Yep.
If you're leaving the bathroom and you're drying your hands off with a paper towel and you throw it towards the trash can and it doesn't go in, stop and go pick it up.
Yes.
Like it's just, these are little things. These are things you should have been taught as a child. And if you don't think those are important, we need to talk.
Okay. So I act like every time in that situation, I put myself I'm playing shooting guard for the Atlanta Hawks, okay? And I try and make that shot every time. And 80% of the time I miss it, but I'm always picking that junk up.
Yeah. So paper towels, easy. Flushing. Like when you leave a stall.
Okay, I don't know where you work. They don't flush toilets there?
Or all the way. Sometimes one flush is not enough for some people, apparently. So when you leave a stall, it should be as if you were never there. That is how you should treat it. The pee on the seat, that's another one. If the urinals are full and you must go into a stall, gentlemen, to do the number ones, you should lift the seat.
All right, you work with terrible people.
I'm just saying it happens. There's pee on the seat. And I'm not talking about a bar. Like that's a different level of bathroom etiquette. I'm talking about a nice public restroom. Okay, pee on the seat. Don't do that. Or clean it up. Just clean it up.
Yeah.
Takes 2 seconds.
Clean up after yourself.
Leave it as if you were never there. That is my overall message in the bathroom. The last thing I'm going to mention about bathrooms, on the phone. Who are these people?
I don't know who they are.
Can talk on the phone. There was a man at work talking to his wife. He was at a urinal talking to his wife.
I don't get it. I don't understand it.
I couldn't operate.
I know who they are.
I had to wait until he left because I was so beside myself.
I know who they are because I know these people and I've seen them do it and I'm like, but I don't know what it is that makes them do that.
Yeah,
it's a weird thing to me.
If you do that, it's not okay. Like, we're here to tell you that that's
It's
not.
just a little strange. It's not, like, I'm not going to lose my mind over it, but it's it's more than a little bit weird to me.
Yeah, and speakerphone, like speakerphone in the bathroom. Speakerphone in general is kind of a...
Okay, that's way over the line. But I feel like there's been a movie where someone's talking on the phone when they're going to the bathroom, and then the person on the other side of the phone is like, "Wait, are you going to the bathroom?" I feel everybody can agree with that, right? It's just weird.
Yeah, let's not
super
do
weird.
that. Let's not do that. Okay, that's... Anybody got any other bathroom talk?
I could talk about it for a while, but I think we should move on.
I was gonna say, do you guys ever wipe down the counters?
Yes.
Like if you've got if you got drying
I'll
off your
wipe
hands,
down for other people.
Yeah, there's water all over the counter. I'll just give those a quick wipe down.
Tim,
Well, that's the janitor in you.
Yeah.
it's like Tim is doing a segue for these topics because my next topic is also...
It's not your turn; it's my turn.
Sorry, I'm segueing now.
you
Tim
gonna
gave it to me. Office break rooms. Okay. Office break rooms. People, again, like you're in an office building, they act like animals. Like creamer packets everywhere, sugar just spilled, forks strewn about. Like, what are we doing?
You need to talk to people you work with, I think.
What are we doing? It's crazy. Like, I, at least once a week, will wipe down the entire counter just to get the creamer and the sugar not all over the counter where you can't even put a cup down.
Yeah.
What are we doing? What are we doing, people?
What is it with the people who will get the last cup of coffee and then put the thing back and it's empty, but they won't make new coffee? Who are those? Why are we doing that?
We have the nice packets, so we don't deal with that. But that is bad.
Like the single serve kind of thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I cannot relate to really any of this.
Okay.
Yeah, Tim doesn't work a real job.
Next one in the...
All right, hold on. I'm going.
Break room. No, it's still the break room.
Okay, all
Still
right.
the break room. All right. Using of the last whatever. Cup.
Yeah, coffee.
Paper towels. Utensils. Refill. Why I am there, and I know there's probably two other people in the office that are like, yes, me too. But in my office, I am always I'm opening the cabinets like a human being, taking out the forks that have been used by somebody. The last one was used by somebody and not replaced, or the stack of styrofoam cups for the coffee, or the roll of paper towels.
Yep.
I'm the guy doing that. Why are we not doing that?
I don't know. I go back to the bathroom for that, like the paper towels, using the last one and leaving the paper towel roll like on the paper towel thing, and it's empty. I'm like, what are we doing here?
Yep. Some offices have dishes.
Yep. We have dishes.
Communal. Even if I had that, I wouldn't take any part of that. I don't. That's too next level of like doing the dishes so that other people.
No,
can use
I
them.
do dishes at
can't.
home, so I don't. I bring my own dishes to work. Because I'm not going to be, I don't do dishes at work. I'm not going to do that.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I don't need any of that
Right.
in my life.
I do dishes at home, and that's it.
Yep. Okay, Dave, you're
Good ones, Josh. All right, my turn. My first one is airline travel. Okay, specifically, okay, your attire when you get on that plane. Now, I feel like a lot of people are going to disagree on this. Okay, because a lot of people like to be comfortable wherever they go. I am here to say,
people of Walmart.
No, I feel like Tim's going to disagree. When you get on an airplane, okay, people, you need to put your best self out there, in my opinion. I'm not saying I'm not saying you need to be dressed to the nines, okay? You don't need to be in a tuxedo. I would say you don't even need to be wearing a suit, okay? But you don't need to be wearing like the Victoria's Secret pajama bottoms.
You don't like the tracksuit.
I don't dig the tracksuit. I don't dig. First of all, I have a rule: I'll never go outside in pajamas. People that wear like pajama pants to the grocery store.
I agree with that.
What are you doing? Okay, all right. People can see you, but getting on an airplane, to me, I just don't understand it.
This is not the 1960s.
Throw on a sport coat, man. Like we're all flying in airplanes. Do you want to die wearing pajama pants?
That's what I think.
Come
about.
on,
now, Dave. That is a practical point. Look.
Okay, first of all, do you want to die wearing pajama pants? It's a little weird to say, but if I'm going down in an airplane, I want to have have a sport coat on.
Here's the thing: if a plane, even if you have an incursion, like if you have to evacuate a plane on like the taxiway, like
you're going to be on TV.
You have to get out. Like if you're in slippers and a bedazzled tracksuit, like you're gonna struggle with some footing. Like
okay, well, again, first of all, I have a life rule whatever your footwear is, I have 2 rules. You should be able to run.
Yes.
And you should be able to kick somebody.
Yes.
Okay. So I don't wear flip-flops unless I'm going to the beach.
Don't wear flip-flops on the plane. It's not a good idea.
Absolutely
Yeah,
not.
I feel very vulnerable when I have flip flops.
I don't.
You are.
Men
That's
should
the
not wear
problem.
sandals. That's a life rule.
Unless
okay?
you're at the beach.
Unless you're at the beach.
Or the lake,
right.
yeah.
We're going to get a lot of feedback on that, but I don't care.
So airline attire.
Airline attire. Listen, we're all sitting very closely together. Nobody, except for the people in first class, nobody's comfortable. Okay, so everybody just bring your best self with you, and we'll all be a little bit better off, in my opinion.
I don't disagree that it wouldn't make us better.
Again, I'm not saying you don't have to dress up, but look, wear some nice pants. Just dress like a normal person.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really have an opinion on it, but I was going to say, make sure you always wear cotton and not polyester in case that plane catches
you don't
on
want
fire.
that sticking to your skin,
Yeah,
right?
that shit feels bad.
When you're on fire, you don't want your clothes also sticking to your skin.
Right.
Cotton,
so that it
natural
can break
fibers.
away. Yeah.
If I'm on fire, the last thing I'm worried about is what my clothes are made out of, because I'm on fire. Right?
Yeah, but it's going to be way worse if you're wearing
when
plastic.
you're stop, dropping, and rolling.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
It's also
stick
more
to you.
flammable. Like you kind of have a chance to like brush it off.
I've never been on fire, so I
Anyway.
don't know. Okay, skip Tim. Josh's turn.
I'm gonna piggyback on air travel. I've got one that's gonna. I mean, we might get taken off the air with this one, but service animals. No, not service animals.
Yeah, not service animal,
What do
because
they call
people
them?
that
What do they call
can't
them?
see need
Yes.
a seeing eye dog.
What do they call them?
Obviously,
What are they?
I have
comfort
opinions.
animals?
I have opinions on this.
Yeah,
no, it's an
they're,
emotional support.
Emotional support. Okay, thank you. Emotional support animals. I'm drawing the line there. It's very black and white.
I
for
don't
me.
like dogs at Home Depot. Okay, so
Yeah.
service animals on an airplane, not a service.
Yeah, that's the wrong term.
Right.
Emotional support in
Yes.
quotation marks animal. Okay, here's the reason. We can't have peanuts if someone has a peanut allergy. The whole plane must be. How many people are allergic to dogs and dog dander?
Hey,
a
you're
billion
talking
and a half.
to. Are you?
Yeah.
I'm
Okay,
allergic to
so
dog dander.
that's cool. We just
know.
bring the dog
I
on
know.
and like everyone else. Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
Like okay, that's one thing. These dogs have been getting in fights. Not all of them, but there are incidents. There's
The coyotes
incidents
are getting in fights.
of dogs getting in fights with each other. There's incidents of dogs
Going to the bathroom.
going to the bathroom
Yeah.
so badly a plane must be turned around, and then biohazard team has to come on
Wow.
to clean. Okay, so this is what we're doing to our passengers, right? They are cracking down on this, which makes it feel better. But another line we're drawing is like, you're saying I cannot fly because I have this issue, but my dog helps me overcome this issue, so I must fly with my dog. Look, there are some things, like when you have certain disabilities, there are some things you cannot do. And like that is just tough. With something like this, some people, like, if they smoked a ton of weed, like while they're smoking weed, they could fly. Like they might have weed smoking might be their thing to get them over, but we don't allow
gonna
them to do
subject
that because
everybody.
that disturbs everybody else.
Right.
Same with the dog. I'm sorry.
I
That's
totally
where I draw
agree
the
with you.
line.
I've never been on an airplane with a comfort animal, like a comfort pig that somebody brought on.
Yeah.
And people
Or
are laughing, comfort pigs, but
Shetland
I've heard
pony.
about a comfort pig. Like
Yeah.
people bring those on airplanes. I think we live in a more normal city, maybe in Atlanta, Georgia.
More normal.
Well, yeah, but everybody comes through our airport.
That's true. That's a good point. I've just never seen one, but if I saw like a parrot on a plane, it would be really, really weird.
The reason why I detest that is actually not those reasons particularly. It's because it makes the people that have legitimate reasons, like an actual
Like an actual dog.
like
that
an
helps
actual
them.
blind person
Right.
that needs the dog, and they should be with that person. So
Totally agree.
it's creating this environment where everybody's starting to question all this, even the legitimate ones. So
Yes.
we've got a good friend of ours, Greg, and he's visually impaired, and he has a dog. And then he's been questioned, like getting into an
Really?
Uber or whatever, and they're like, "Show me your papers" and all this kind of stuff.
All right.
What
That's
this,
insane.
yeah. And again, this goes back to: is this the world we want to live in?
No.
Yes. So we can do better. No emotional support.
I listen, I don't love flying. I get a little bit nervous on airplanes. I don't have like a phobia. So I know that is something that people really
Sure,
struggle with.
Absolutely.
And I get that.
Don't fly.
I would never, ever bring my comfort snake with me. I would never bring it with me. Like, I just don't understand that.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
so weird.
There are gray areas in here.
Absolutely.
You know, there always is. So we can't.
I don't know if there
But
are.
these are the most broad terms I can speak.
Yeah. We're painting with a broad brush here, but in general, it is ridiculous, and it sucks because. Yeah, you're causing issues for those people that actually need those service animals.
They can't function. They literally can't function in life without their service animal. Like you have some things you need to get over and having a dog might help you do that. Again, we won't get into the
Have y'all ever heard me say that everyone needs to know a blind person?
No,
because my life changed when I met our friend Greg. My life changed. I just think about things completely differently.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if those people that had the emotional support animals or whatever, if they knew of someone that really needed that support animal, like someone who's blind, they would probably think twice about their need, quote unquote.
There's a lot of abuse in the system, and I think the airlines are trying to crack down on that in general.
Not to harp on this. Listen, I'm sure that there are people that an animal provides comfort and makes them feel better and helps them through situations. And I don't discount that. I mean, I'm sure that's a legitimate thing, but it's not a legitimate thing on an airplane.
On an airplane, yes. Yeah. That's where we're talking. Okay, so before we wrap up airplanes, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention passenger shaming. They have Instagram, Facebook. It's a great. Don't go on it if you want to be in a good mood,
or if you want to be productive.
Yeah, it's a very horrifying website. It just documents real people on real airplanes.
It's the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
right?
I've been lucky enough to not ever have been on a flight where I'm just beside myself on who's on my flight with me and how they're acting. I've been on pretty well behaved and people with etiquette in general. So anyway. Passengershaming.com. Shout out.
I have not heard of that.
Oh, it's a good one. Every other picture is somebody with their back on the bottom of the seat and their feet straight up in the air.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a lot of people do that.
How about you guys? I will not recline my seat. If someone is behind me, I will not recline the seat.
Tim, I don't go to sleep on airplanes. Okay, so
neither do I.
I can't. Dave's 6'5" and doesn't recline his seat.
I don't. I'm not. I will not inconvenience the person behind me.
Wow.
I will not do it.
Wow.
Yeah, because
like a human.
Well, but again, because I'm 6'5", and when that seat in front of me comes back, I'm like, listen, I can't. We can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't fit back here.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway,
so I'm gonna touch on another one that's gonna be a can of worms, and I've done a little research on it. It's shopping carts. So
you mean a buggy? You mean a buggy?
All right. First of all, it's not a buggy. Second of all,
for our listeners in the north or elsewhere, and you're wondering what the heck is that? In the south, we do have a thing where we call shopping carts buggies.
Some people. Again, I'm going back to my Publix days. They also call them carriages.
No,
it's generally older folk. They'll call them. I had some little old ladies call them carriages.
Interesting.
But buggy is quite common.
Yeah, buggy, shopping cart. Okay, we're at the grocery store. You're at Home Depot. You're wrapping up your trip. Getting in the car, unload all your stuff.
Leaving it on the curb.
Yeah, do we just leave it? Do we put it on the median, just hop the front wheels up on the median? Or do we go walk it back to the store? Or do we put it in the cart corral?
Okay, so a lot of opinions from this guy over here, and this guy being me, because again, worked at Publix. Now, when I worked at Publix, they did not have the cart corrals out in the parking lot at my particular store, okay? When I would go shopping, I would always take the cart back to the store. I realize most people don't do that, and I'm going to give them a pass. But if you do it, you're a hero, like I am. If they don't have the places to discard the cart in the parking lot, like we did not have, I would give people a pass just kind of leaving, because there was nowhere for them to leave it. All right. They've already been in the store. I'm not going to expect them to bring it back, even though I would do it.
Yeah, and just don't be lazy. That's my thing. And don't inconvenience other people by taking up parking spaces with the carts.
Also, it hits people's cars, right? It
causes damage. I did some looking around. There have been studies, like true scientific studies on this behavior of carts, with carts specifically. And there's a lot of arguments, like people with kids. What do? You're not allowed to leave your kids in your car unattended. Elderly people, disabled people. We're not talking about that.
Right.
Okay.
Obviously.
Now, in my opinion, if you have kids, park near a corral. Like,
yeah, but you can't always do that.
I know. Try. Okay. This is what this podcast is about. Let's trying to do the right thing. Be proactive. Park near the corral. I do it at home.
Why can't you take your kids with you and go put the cart up?
You can do that. You can. It takes extra effort.
It does take extra effort,
but it's the right thing.
Like we all need a little bit more.
Let me just stop everything right here and just say, just so everybody knows,
Tim,
these are very much first world problems here. So I just want to like put that up.
They obviously are.
Yes, but these studies.
But let me get back to
However,
there is a butterfly effect type thing with these behaviors. So they studied. I'm not going to get into all the studies, but there was basically a study where they went into a parking deck and left carts strewn around randomly. Like at the beginning of the day, they just put carts wherever, right? On everyone's windshield that came into that parking deck, they would go out while they were in the store and put a flyer on everyone's windshield. When the people came out and found the flyer on their windshield, when there were carts strewn in the parking lot, it was like 58% of people took that flyer and threw it on the ground.
Interesting.
When the parking lot was spotless, it was like 30% of people. And it was like they scientifically studied this. And they did the same thing with like alleys and graffiti. Like if an alley had graffiti in it, people were way more likely to litter. Like they'd put a flyer on some bicycles or something. Anyway, this like affects the rest of your behavior, like just the environment. So if we all just have this like, oh, well, you know, I mean, it is a first world problem, but like if we're just like, oh, whatever, like, and we do that with everything, we will quickly spiral.
It's not going to matter. This area is already dumpy anyways.
Right, exactly. That's exactly what happens.
So I was also going to mention Aldi. You got to put a quarter to get the cart.
People get annoyed. Aldi. It's a good system.
So I'm not going to leave my cart out because I want my quarter back.
Yeah.
All right. So you got to take it back.
Yeah. And also, I mean, some people, I was reading this article about shopping carts, you know, elderly people, disabled folks, people with kids. If you see these people, like, go. If you're going to shame them? Yourself, no. Go by, like, offer to take their cart.
Oh, yeah. Just yeah.
I mean, this is like a bigger picture thing. Just, if you see someone
walking,
and they're struggling to get their groceries in, just nicely, don't freak them out and be weird, but just be like,
can I give you a hand?
Can I grab you? Can I grab that cart from you? Like, I'll take it back for you. No big deal. Or like take multiple carts if you can. Take the one that the animal left on the median. Take it in yourself. Yeah.
Don't be an animal.
That's where I'm going.
Nice.
All right. So my next one, Josh, I don't know why we're not taking turns. Josh keeps doing 2 in a row, but whatever. So my next one, I'm driving to work this past Friday, okay? And it's a congested, I have a long commute. It's like an hour. So I see a lot of stuff on my way to work. Most days it's pretty normal, okay? But this past Friday, driving to work, heavy traffic, not as bad because it's Friday. So traffic's moving, but there are a lot of people on the interstate. I'm going past this guy. He has his windows cracked. He rolls the window down and he takes a large wrapper and kind of crumples it up a little bit and just drops it out of his window.
I don't believe you.
Onto the interstate, and then rolls the window back up, and then he has somebody else in the car, and he just turns over and talks to him like it's no big deal. And I'm thinking, I can't get over. I'm like, who does listen? All right.
You needed to follow.
I understand it. I get it. I lived for a decade like an animal in my car. There was stuff everywhere. It was always a mess. And something happened to me. I don't know what it was, but I went through this reformation project or this reformation process, and I can't stand to have a messy car. And it just drives me nuts. So I'm always cleaning it. Every time I get out, I'm taking trash, I'm grabbing stuff, I'm getting it out of there. So I understand it. You don't want to have trash in your car, but to take it and throw it out onto the interstate, who does that?
That's pretty bold in 2019.
It's bold because there were people. This is a big dude, so maybe he's like, nobody's going to say anything to me, and nobody did, but they should have.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
Litter in 2019
is terrible
because that's something I feel like we've gotten past. Like
that's again
much,
like as a child, right? As a child, they hammered it into you like don't litter. Yeah. Again, this was years ago, but I saw a guy walking down the road, crumples up a McDonald's wrapper and literally like just tosses it behind him. I'm like, what are you doing? Dude, don't be an animal.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, we do need to wrap it up here, but I did have one more to talk about. Okay. when I love lending out my tools. Okay. Always love lending out my tools. Okay. You can borrow my tools whenever you want. Okay. I really enjoy doing that. But if you borrow something, don't return it dirty. All right.
Bring it back clean.
Bring it back clean. Just show some some decency and clean it. Now, look, I know it's a tool. All right. It's going to get some use. It might get a little dirty. Just
it doesn't have to be spotless, right?
Yeah, just
kind
show
of wipe
me
it
that you
down.
like cared
Yeah.
enough to maybe just wipe it down a little bit. Anyways,
And
I know
that
that's
goes
a mild
for anything.
one. But
That goes for anything you're borrowing that's not yours, or a place you're in that's not yours. Treat it as if.
Yeah, leave it better than you found it,
yeah,
right?
That's one thing. I mean, my dad hammered that into us. He still does it. Sometimes it drives us crazy. Like he's like cleaning, he's bussing the tables at the restaurant, before we leave.
are you a plate stacker? I do that.
Yeah,
all the
Yeah.
If I'm thinking about it, and I will clean up. When you have kids under 3, a wood chipper might as well have eaten
They
at
are
your
animals.
table. I will try to get the biggest chunks, so that the waiter has a little less, and I will extra tip on that. But yeah, treat these places. All we're asking, treat these places as if they're yours, and we will be a better place.
Yeah, I think we're going to continue this show topic in the future. And I guess we'll just call it.
We're going to keep talking about it tonight after we go off the air, obviously.
Hey, you can, man, listeners, bring your ideas. Like, if you have opinions, hey, if we were wrong on some of this stuff, let us know. Hit us up on social media and give us those topics that you want us to throw around the table.
Yeah.
All right. So after the break, we're going to have Tim do this week's segment. This episode is sponsored by 1776 United. 1776 United is a patriotic and historically inspired lifestyle brand. They make the best patriotic shirts and apparel on the market today. I personally own many of their products, and if you want to don patriotic gear without looking gaudy, check them out on Instagram, Facebook, and at 1776united.com. All right, guys, welcome back. This week's segment is going to be...
Is brought to you by Tim.
All right.
Yes. All right. It's going to be a pretty short one this week. Earlier in the episode, I mentioned my pears and all the stuff that's growing in my yard. And y'all said I sounded like a old man.
Yes.
You did sound like an old man, but I want to try some.
Okay. Another thing that I've got growing, well, it's actually in the lot next to mine. It was on my lot, is kudzu.
Yes, because you live in Georgia, right?
So when we first moved in, we have this section of the yard. It's like kind of like on a separate lot. It was completely covered with kudzu. So over the years, we've combated it. I've got it off my property, but now it's on the 2 empty lots, and it's always encroaching on my lot.
Constant battle.
Yeah, constant battle. Anyways, I thought I would give a little history of kudzu in America.
Let's hear it.
You guys ready for this?
Well, I'm really glad you're going to do this because I have kudzu that seemingly popped out of nowhere and has just taken over like some dead space in my yard. It just appears out of nowhere. I'm for real.
Probably carried there by a bird.
Maybe.
That's how these things work, Dave.
All right, we'll go.
Or maybe one of your neighbors really hates you and they just planted it.
That could have been it too.
Okay, so for our listeners who don't know, I mean, it's possible that they've never, there's listeners that we've got that have never seen kudzu.
Correct.
It's a very fast growing vine.
It's like ivy, sort of like ivy.
It's ivy. It's got, bigger leaves and it covers trees. It doesn't do well in shade. It does need sun, but I guess it's all through the not South America, the southern states of America. I'll just jump into it because
And it covers to the point of suffocation.
Yeah, it just kind of envelops everything.
It can
right?
do a forest.
Yeah.
Like it'll just
for
take
sure.
a forest.
And it's
down.
quick. It's real quick.
Well, yes and no. Actually, we'll kind of get to that.
All right. Am I spreading lies?
Think so.
Yeah.
Fake news.
So, all right, let's just start. So it was first introduced to America. It's from Asia. Okay. I think you guys knew that. Some of our listeners may not know that. It's from Asia. It is not native at all. Okay. And it was introduced in the late 19th century as a garden novelty. Okay. So people used to actually have this in their garden as a decorative.
Oh, if we could go back.
A decorative vine ivy, right?
All right.
With just like English ivy or something like that. But kudzu's formal introduction was at the 1876 World Fair Centennial Exhibit in Philadelphia.
Wow.
Due to several dust storms affecting the prairies. So, sorry, it was introduced 1876. Not a whole lot of people adopted it. It was garden novelty. And then comes the dust storms of the 1930s, Depression era. Dust Bowl. So Congress gets involved in like, hey, we got kudzu that could combat this erosion. And so they started.
So the government stepped in?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That usually works out really well.
Yeah. So honestly, this can be blamed on the government because if it was not for, well,
just this once though.
Yeah, just this one.
Easy, Josh.
Now we'll say that it did combat erosion.
Okay.
It did its job.
That's for sure. But 1935, Congress sought a solution and they chose kudzu.
All right.
Look, we've got this vine. It grows like crazy. It can fight erosion. So more than 70 million kudzu seedlings were grown in nurseries. I mean, this is just mind-boggling to think how much kudzu we have now and that they were growing this stuff in plant nurseries.
We need more of this.
It's ridiculous. In the newly created Soil Conservation Service. So that was the branch of the government.
This was all due to the Dust Bowl? Like they started this big movement. We're growing all these seeds. Going crazy because of the Dust Bowl, and we're using kudzu.
Right. From my research, this is not going to be an exhaustive history, so I'm sure there's a lot more to it. Just kind of want to get the bullet points here. I will post a link if you wanted to read more. But also, a contributing factor, there was a radio host in Atlanta. So at Channing Cope, and he promoted kudzu a ton. Because he wanted it to be adopted by farmers. He even started the Kudzu Club of America. I wonder if that's still I didn't check to see if that's still a thing. But it had 20,000 members and had a goal of planting 8 million acres across the South.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. You guys know of that.
Congratulations, everyone.
Yes, you've succeeded.
I am forgetting the name of it now. You guys will probably think of it. It is a canyon in Georgia that was caused by erosion. Are you
Tallulah Gorge?
No.
I don't know.
It's like southern.
Oh,
It was legitimately caused by poor farming practices and by soil erosion.
Should have brought that kudzu in.
I can't remember the name of it
historians.
now. I don't know why I can't remember the name of it now. Anyways, okay, so here we're going to kind of get to what do you guys think in your mind? How crazy is kudzu now? Like it's such a part of Southern culture,
Right.
folklore. You know, when you think of the South, you think of kudzu, right?
Definitely.
So Josh had mentioned, it just covers forests. And that's a lot of what people think, that it can cover entire forests, but really it doesn't do well in shady areas at all.
Okay.
And the reason why we think it covers so much more land than it actually does is because it's always on the byways.
It's on like the fringe, right?
Yes, it's on the edges of these forests. And so we think that
And it's up
covering
against the roads. all the time. Yeah.
So you see it. Anyways, over the years, it's been purported that kudzu covers like 7 and 9 million acres.
Okay.
Not the case at all.
Okay.
Right? I had kind of always thought that it covered a crap ton of land.
Yeah.
But that's not actually
It's a
the case.
facade.
Is Georgia the kudzu capital? Did you get
Probably.
anything on
I
that?
did
think we
not-
need to go with that.
Did not get that. I mean, I don't know, though. I'm thinking like places like Mississippi,
Yeah.
Alabama. It's all over the
So you're
South.
telling me if we get rid of the sun, then we solve the problem?
Right.
Okay.
All right, so the U.S. Forestry Service, they say that it actually covers 227,000 acres. That's way
A lot less.
lower than what a lot of people in folklore think.
Yeah, it doesn't seem. I
covers.
mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of land, but it doesn't seem like astronomical, right?
Yeah, so to kind of put that into perspective, that's only about 1/10 of 1% of the South's 200 million acres of forest. Okay.
All right.
So if that kind of puts that in perspective, you guys know what Asian privet is?
Yeah,
so I
negative.
have a ton of that. We
I
have a
have
ton of
some,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. And that actually covers way more than kudzu does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's just not as big.
And it grows like
not as
crazy.
leafy.
I have no idea what that is.
Oh,
What
I'll
is
show
it?
you. I'll show you. I mean,
You
we
got to
have
tell me. Is it like a kudzu? Is it like a vine kind of thing?
No,
No,
it's well, I don't know.
They're like they're semi like tree bush.
You could grow it as a bush.
Mm.
I mean, I guess.
Okay.
You know, and in fact, I think, yeah, my parents had like planted some sort of privet. I don't know. It grows really fast. You can use it for like a natural fence.
That's kind of what I'm doing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but it covers more, and it's an invasive. It's from Asia, obviously. But lastly, wanted to cover, have you guys seen kudzu bugs?
I don't think so.
Little black bugs that you almost think that they're ladybugs at first. No?
Okay.
But they're in the stink bug family. Like if you crush them, they stink.
Not good. Not a good day.
You haven't seen these?
Are they
No.
angular, like real angular
Yeah,
looking?
they're more roundish, but if you look closer at them, they do have a little bit of more of an angular.
Okay.
But really, honestly, if you look at them, they look like black ladybugs.
Okay.
That's what they look like. They fly. Anyways, they were first discovered in a garden near Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport.
Really?
About 6 years ago.
What?
They hitched a ride. I guess this is what this is what they're thinking, right? Since it was discovered near the airport, it came from another country, I'm guessing Asia, and it got here to Atlanta. So I remember the year that I first noticed these things, and they were insane. It was probably 4 years ago, I think, and they were attracted to white, so they would come all on the trim of our house.
Okay.
Do you remember this?
I've never seen
I
these
don't
things.
think
Okay.
so.
So if you go down to my lot now, or the lot next to mine, where all the kudzu is, like Luke has some trails in the woods, and he let it overgrow with the kudzu, and he went down there. I was like, man, you got to keep that cut. So he went down there with his machete, and he just got demolished by all these kudzu bugs that came flying up. And so he's like, I'm not doing it. I hit it once, and all the kudzu bugs. It's insane.
Crazy.
But they are somehow
You need to get down there and fog it.
they suck the juice out of the kudzu or something like that. So they're actually, I wouldn't say decimating, but
Trying to suppress.
they are extremely suppressing
Nice.
kudzu. So we may see in our lifetime, probably not the entire end of kudzu,
Yeah.
but a great reduction.
it seems like a good thing.
Yeah, this is all in the ether, and it's not scientific, but this sounds weird because kudzu's always in my life been a big deal. Like just during the summer, I'm like, oh my gosh, look at that kudzu, like wherever I am. But I swear, in the last 4 or 5 years,
Not as much.
it's not as big of a part of my life. Like I don't know if I just don't notice it, or if it's actually maybe retreating in certain areas.
I don't know. I was thinking about that. I think it probably has more to do, especially in our area, with just the expansion and building of more stuff. So we have less just unused lots
Green
of
space.
land,
Yeah, maybe.
right? And so when they're clearing it out, right?
Sure.
And so I think that's probably the case. But apparently there was one study done that said that there was a 1/3 reduction in kudzu biomass in less than 2 years
That is
because of
significant.
when did those
kudzu
bugs show up?
about 6 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, and I'm
Wow.
pretty sure that I remember them about 4 years ago.
That's wild.
I think that's when I first noticed them. I have noticed that they are attracted to other plants as well. I've seen them all over. I'm going to forget the name of it. It's another vine with the purple flowers. Why can't I remember the name? Anybody? No.
Not a botanist. I need you
Asking the
to. I
wrong
need you to
guy.
bottle some of those bugs. Put them in a jar so I can let them loose in my yard. Get rid of my kudzu.
Oh, right. Yeah, you just need to just start cutting it. If you keep it cut back, you can usually
It's taken over.
keep it at bay. Anyways, just a short little history on kudzu. Thought you guys might appreciate that. That's about it. We're going to wrap this episode up. Make sure you guys check out our show notes at youcanman.com. Check out our Instagram and our Facebook page. We'll see you next time.